Hi everyone and welcome to Regine's podcast. I'm getting angry all over this morning. I'm angry at all those who say that peace is a lie and an obstacle to war. Honestly, are you crazy to bash the most beautiful of words, peace? How can you insult it without blushing with shame? But how is it possible? I'm so disturbed by so much about avoiding it, when it has to take action in world affairs. For not only is peace necessary to come back to life, but she also has the desire to come back to life herself. It's unthinkable to talk so much rubbish about her. We mustn't because blah blah blah, or because she could put an end to war. But don't you think, good people, that the war has lasted long enough and that it's time to rebuild something different for the future? How is it possible to support those who want to be the avenging arm of the decadent? You know, the one who has locked us up in our certainties of not being able to think for ourselves. I'm depressed this morning by the surrender of those who want peace, but for whom fighting to the bitter end is becoming unbearable. And I'm one of them too. I feel like I'm suffocating in the cauldron of the horrible bouillabaisse of the billionaire of immeasurable stupidity who rules our planet. I too need to see things more clearly, to finally welcome this peace, but I won't be able to as long as the easy money brawlers are still tricking everything, doing everything, to cling their damned cockroach power that do everything to inhibit our hope. It's annoying beyond measure and more than a little disturbing in my daily life. I avoid dwelling on all this constantly truncated information and their hope for an unfinished war for eternity. But how can I finally see the light at the end of the tunnel of despair, when every day another piece of dilettante misinformation runs through not only X but also my subconscious? This shameless mental to horrify me like this with his repeated failures concerning my future, or to tell me that it's fucked, you won't make it to your dream of giving people hope and peace. But that's what I want to do through my stories, my podcasts, and whatever else the universe asks me to do in return for the beautiful words and images of life it gives me every day. But for the moment, all I have in return is the lack of money, the fear of not being able to provide for my soul and my body, eating and paying its bills, because peace is not desired by many people. I can see that peace can find its way onto my X feed and my favorite surfers everywhere. I can see that my matter won't start because I'm being ignored like these journalists who prefer to keep the inferno of death burning through permanent war rather than bring peace to their TV set of current decay. I too am in despair today, as day by day the censorship of peace becomes visible, audible, and almost normal for the average person. Well, not for me. I spend the night screaming my anger at the universe, telling it that I want peace now and right now, and that I'm incapable of doing it on my own if I'm locked up in this beautiful Garden of Eden where no one but me has access. I've asked to go out and shake up all those who still don't see me as a voice of peace and not of disregard to humanity. Because I've been through trials and tribulations, and I'm still going through them without ever telling myself that peace won't reach its destination. But now, I'm beginning to have doubts about the madness of those who at the slightest hitch in their perception of everyday life, come to a temporary or perhaps a permanent halt and never go any further. So, what to do? Disappear and go back to the job that never gave me much in return, except a salary, after all? Or stay on the right path and mourn a permanent famine on a bank account that no longer even recognizes the taste of happiness linked to money. So inflammatory is this one by dint of seeing nothing coming. I don't really know if peace is wanted in this world anymore, and even less by the people around me, who only see my inactivity in social fashion, whereas every day I do nothing but serve peace to the whole world, without ever seeing the slightest or very little, sorry for those who follow me, interest in it. I'm ready to give my messages of peace, to share my book Symbiosis, but when the content is never read by those who seek to understand my world of peace, how do you expect them to be heard and even more understood? I'm trying to give the right image of the word peace, the word that, in order for humanity to exist, must now be reborn. Indeed, death must no longer be a permanent fear in our lives, and even less so in our future. It's time for the future to come to us, filled with peace, because it's far too late to resign ourselves to a society that is anything but stable, balanced and conducive to peace. I know there won't be any more left to point out the offender against the most idiotic law of the day, if we finally deign to find peace within ourselves. I am being somewhat virulent this morning, and I apologize to those who have been following me for so long, but I felt the need to shout out my desire for peace right now on the internet transport networks. For heaven's sake, nom d'un chien in French, name of dog, literally. It would be nice to see a little peace between these famous videos of the same dog, filmed from all sides to make views, because when a straightened poodle gets more views than peace, I wonder. And I refuse to believe it's out of ignorance. Because peace is scary. Of course, it's scary. Indeed, it requires an incredible effort to get rid of everything that limits us in its appearance in our lives. We have to get rid of the ones, and I'm speaking from experience, make them disappear by looking at what we've been hiding under the carpet of truncated truth about our own daily raison d'être. And this involves suffering, of course, but not only that. Because once you're on the road, you'll find a handful, and that's all it takes, of kind souls who not only look out for you, but bring you so much happiness when the darkness is so overwhelming. I wanted to thank them today, because without them I'd be wasting away at the bottom of an endless hole, and maybe I wouldn't even be here, having sought peace in a more immaterial happiness. But I refuse to live like that, because peace becomes persona non grata and my podcasts are thus ignored. I also wanted to talk about Symbiosis, once again, a book that speaks of rebirth and the need to relive all that makes us men of all kinds, and now open the page to the future. I'm asking the universe, whoever will finally hear me, to let this cry of peace and not war circulate, for once, on this network so polluted by the fear of having to be at war. Let's let go of fear, and let's walk together towards the peace that so animated us when the little flowers of the revolutionary spring took the Bastille, instead of looking at what was behind it all. To take another Bastille today, ours, and liberate what makes us human. Peace. So, be at peace, dear friends, and don't forget the importance of asking for it, instead of passively listening to those who promise us war without ever wagging it. Because war is what we do, you and I, to return to the peace of daily life that should be surprising and full of possibilities so that we can simply be alive. So yes, peace leads to life, and being able to create your own happiness shouldn't be hindered by those who preach about a war that is surely not theirs, but everyone's own. So, let's leave the world war behind and get back to peace. And I think it will come from the distant steppes to the east, and from the guy who thinks he's bringing peace to his people even if sometimes, and for a long time, he's only brought us rain and violent storms of dishonesty. But we have to talk about peace, so let's work on building it from within so that those who want it from their seats of power can bring it about. Because frankly, I can wait for it to appear on the front pages of the news and on big screens the world over. Because hope and peace must be our future, not war. It has lasted far too long, both in my life and in that of the world's elites, against our desire to live in peace. I therefore recommend that you read some of my tales, if you wish, to understand that the future is not destined to the bleak and despairing, quite the contrary. But to do this, we need to mobilize our energy of peace so that we no longer suffer our own death on a daily basis. So, I leave you in peace for today and hopefully come back with the word peace in victorious truth in a future podcast. Who knows? The world is changing so fast that a war can turn into peace when humanity finally wants it more than its current little world of decadence. See you soon, friends, and remember to spread the word, because that's what peace is all about, I think. She needs a helping hand right now, and I'd be more than grateful if you'd support her with your hope too. Bye bye!